And meanwhile, here's the Rosberg-Senna battle, and it hasn't taken Senna very long to get right back up with Rosberg again. A lap after making that mistake at the chicane, he's right up with him. They're now out of the swimming pool, coming now past the third apex of the swimming pool. In fact, that's the tight one, and that's where Senna really closes up on the Williams. And back at Lowe's, we've got a new leader, we've got a new leader. The Lotus is in front of the McLaren. Nigel Mansell has gone ahead of Alain Prost. We didn't see it happen. I don't know where it happened. But for the first time in his Grand Prix career, Nigel Mansell leads. There's a yellow flag there just to remind them about the Brabham of Corrado Fabi. But Lotus number 12, the black and gold Lotus Renault of Nigel Mansell, leads the Monaco Grand Prix. And there, in fact, the gap after 11 laps already up to just under 2.2 seconds. Lauda a further 25 seconds on down. Arnoux, Rosberg and Senna follow. But this is a superb performance from Nigel Mansell. This is always a circuit that Nigel Mansell shines on. We've seen him turn in good drives here. He's now got a back marker to pass. It's the Alfa of Riccardo Patrese. And back markers, in fact, could be a real problem here, because not only is there a visibility difficulty for the overtaking driver, but frequently the driver in front, however carefully he looks in his mirrors, may not be able to see through the spray who's behind him. But the blue flags have told Patrese that the leader is behind him. Alain Prost follows through, and now Mansell makes his charge. Very difficult, tiptoeing up to Saint-Devote. A lot of water still on the road, but Mansell gets through. Look how the rain is almost bouncing off the road. It's raining harder than ever. It's very, very slippery. Prost follows through. Up the hill goes Mansell. Oh, a little twitch there as he goes up towards Casino Square. On the brakes into Massenet. Between the Casino and the Hotel de Paris, a little wave from one of the marshals there, the bedraggled marshals doing their job in impossible conditions. Down the hill into Mirabeau, he takes a close line, keeping well over to the inside of the road there. Obviously that's where he's found the most grip. Bottom gear, gently on the power, get the car straight before you feed all the horses through the back wheel. Prost has passed Patrese too, so the first two cars have passed the Alfa Romeo back marker safely. The leader already in the tunnel as Prost enters Portière. And that tunnel is almost dry again now, so the drivers have got this problem of changing conditions. Out of the chicane, still this teeming rain, down to Tabac, and Mansell having to concentrate every inch of the way, having to shut out anything else except keeping his car on this narrow tunnel of road between those unyielding and ever-present Armco barriers. Down once more to Rascasse. You can see the red light shining at the back of the car. They all have a red light as some sort of help in the conditions. There's Hainaut in trouble once again. François Hainaut once more in difficulty. What a shocking race he's had with spins and problems all over the place. Mansell goes past up the hill as the marshals go to aid Hainaut. Yellow flags are waving, and he's just simply running backwards, admittedly well off the racing line, and I would think now that surely his race must be run. Meanwhile, Mansell, the leader, once more at Casino Square. He's got Jacques Lafitte's Williams, you remember it's had a pit stop for fresh tyres, ahead of him to lap. Always this traffic problem. And as they go down into the lows, he makes up a lot of ground on the Frenchman. Once again, cautiously on the power. You can see his hands moving on the steering wheel. Down to Portière, the car bouncing a little over those bumps. Still the abandoned Brabham of Corrado Fabi, and here is third man Niki Lauda down the hill with René Arnoux not very far behind him, so Niki Lauda hasn't got away from Arnoux. And there's Ayrton Senna. Ayrton Senna has passed K.Rosberg. The Tollman has come up now into 5th place, so Ayrton Senna still keeping the pressure on. There is the very courteous Jacques Lafitte keeping well out of the way and waving the leader by, and Nigel Mansell must be hoping that all the back markers that he catches up are going to be as courteous and helpful as that. Alain Prost still in sight. Alain Prost still not very far behind. But whatever happened when Nigel Mansell was able to get past, whether it was a mistake or a little moment for the McLaren, it has meant that Mansell has made this break, and Alain Prost is certainly still losing a little bit of time every single lap to the Lotus of Nigel Mansell. Mansell completes 13 laps, starts his 14th, and it is raining harder than ever. Just look at the rain on the road. It's absolutely teeming down here. Conditions getting, if anything, worse. Out of sound of boat goes the Lotus, very smooth line on up the hill. There is second man Prost, still Niki Lauda in third place, still R.Arnoux is fourth. The storming Ayrton Senna is fifth, and indeed is catching R.Arnoux. In sixth place it's K.Rosberg, and S.Bellof has moved up into seventh place. Down past the tip-top, on towards Mirabeau, the Lotus weaves under braking. He takes that close line once more. There is the lapped Jacques Lafitte Williams. Ooh, and on the brakes there into Lowe's, you could see the front wheels locking briefly of Mansell's Lotus. He's absolutely on the limit. I don't think he can possibly go any faster than he is now without courting real disaster. Out of the portiere, into the tunnel, the brief respite from the worst of the rain. Niki Lauda down the hill in third place, and there is Ayrton Senna. He's passed R.Arnoux. Ayrton Senna has taken fourth place. The inexperienced newcomer to Formula One racing at Monaco passes the enormously experienced and very hard to pass R.Arnoux, and Ayrton Senna has put the Toleman up into fourth place. Another twitch there, out of tobacco for the leading Lotus. Mansell really pressing on, and no sign in that shot of the McLaren. There it comes. So the Lotus is pulling out more and more space from the Alain Prost McLaren. Prost a much more cautious line through the swimming pool complex. The rain bouncing off the road as Nigel Mansell goes up through the gearbox and away from the gasworks hairpin on to complete now 14 laps. And this race being run at an average of barely 60 miles an hour. They barely covered 28 miles. Mansell through Saint-Devote. Look how close he goes to the barrier as he goes up the hill, using every inch of the road. Up past Rosie's Bar. Oh, and he's in trouble! He hits the barrier! Mansell has spun going up the hill. He's clouted the barrier, and he's got underway again, but the rear of the car is badly damaged. Oh, and I think he's got a puncture at the back. The rear wing's all awry. He's slowed right down. Nigel Mansell still leading the race, but not for long, I think. Alain Prost is close on his tail now. And Nigel Mansell has thrown it all away. What rotten luck. The Lotus got away from him going up the hill. And yes, he's got flat back tyres. He's spun to a halt at the Mirabeau. He's still starting. That's Lafitte going through. He's got underway again as Arnoux comes down. And the rest of the field tiptoeing past him. He's in the middle of the road. He has now got it going, but the rear tyres both flat, one rear wheel badly bent, and he's crawling down the hill. He's going to park the car on the pavement as far out of the way as he possibly can. So tragic luck for Nigel Mansell, who was leading a Grand Prix for the first time in his career, and a little mistake coming up the hill at speed. He puts his head in his hands. He must be in despair.